Friday night, and the drinks are on my mind. The decision sets in, one that will churn your skin. Right, let them have their time. And I have this notion, let's keep these wheels in motion. In motion. You thought I did not know. Did you think I would let it go? Oh no. And in time, yes, I think it's absurd, but until then you'll leave your words. But lay on, lay on. Now it's time to defend your lies, lies you've been feeding me all this time. And will you reoffend? Oh darling, you say that you are innocent, but your ways, they seem irrelevant, but still play on. Now it's time to defend your lies, lies you've been feeding me all this time. And will you reoffend? Oh darling, oh you have reached your lover's end. No more will we make pretend like we something to fight for. Oh. We had nothing to fight for. We had nothing to fight for. We had nothing to fight for. We had nothing to fight for.
Good evening, race fans. I'm part here, Black Flag Racing TV, and yes, Monday night, and it is back. The BFeR Gauntlet. You've all been waiting for this. Absolutely phenomenal series. Random cars, random tracks, random settings. We roll them, they race them, then we roll a new one. There is no time to practice. Literally, we roll it, we set up the lobby, we get going. First race will be very, very soon. I'm going to roll it in a couple of minutes. Essentially what we do is we roll the first race, we set it up, they do one hot lap qualifying. From then onwards, it is reverse grid scenario, whatever we've got. And as we use a class, we remove that class from the roulette. So we've got GR1, 2, 3 and 4 ready to roll this evening with every track available, of course. So I think without further ado, I think the thing we need to do at this stage is just get it rolling, right? What do you reckon? I reckon we should get cracking. Let's do just that then, shall we? Helps if I open the right document. There we go. So we're going to roll the first one right now. Are we ready? What's coming up? What's coming up? Oh, on the car, it's Mrs. G-Mac. I didn't even think it would come up with the first roll. How about that? Let's roll it again. That's not fair. Sorry, Gary, I couldn't help it. We're going to roll again. Let's go again. That's much better. So that's what we've got. We have GR4, America's Blue Moon Speedway full course. Tyre wear 5, fuel rate number 2. So I think the first thing we need to do is get that set up. So we are Blue Moon Speedway. We need to find a way to streamline this bit. So Blue Moon Speedway, the full course. This should be interesting in GR4. It is a 15-minute race. Preset weather, weather S18. Probably has some noise in the background. We've got lots of people in my house today. They're all absolute cockwombles. Every single one of them. BOP, nothing changes there. Qualifying is one hot lap. Oh, yeah, qualifying says 3 minutes. Let's do 2 minutes because that's more than enough time to get it done. All the shortcut penalties and everything. Right, we just need to change the car, don't we? Where's the car? Filter by category. GR4. Tyres and fuel. Let's get them done. So, where are they gone? I've lost them. Fuel consumption is times 2. Tyre wear is times 5. I think that's everything. There we go. Right, so room is set. Check in, dudes. Check in because then we are getting cracking. We've got a few people still initialising for some reason. Evening, Paul. How you doing, mate? James, genuinely, I put it on the list. I fully didn't expect it to be the first one that rolled out. Fully did not expect that. I thought, look, it's a 1 in 5 chance because there's 5 things on there, and I thought it might come out, it might not. Never expected it to be the first one out though. That is absolute genius. I'm not even going to take it off the list. It might actually come up again. Right, so just making sure they all get checked in. Helps if I actually spell check right. So I'm just waiting for these bellends to click the tick button, pick a car and tick the button, dudes, come on.
How dare you?
Yeah, how dare you indeed. There seems to be a little bit of confusion as to how to pick a car.
Everybody strap in!
So, still waiting for Stormfly, Wiggy, Manx and Fubar all to pick their car. Still not picked yet. Where is... who are we missing? I think we're missing Bendit. Yeah, we're missing a couple of drivers that were checked in. They've got... Well, essentially until Stormfly, Wiggy, Manx and Star Group are checked in to get involved. I think it's Grizz and what's his name? Yeah, Bendit missing. Come on, Wiggy, Manx man, check in. Once he's checked in, we will start this race. Right, leaving it too long now. Oh, wrong button. Right, let's do it. Let's get this done. Qualifying is about to begin. It is one singular hot lap. That's it. Qualifying is about to begin. 0 seconds and in we go. So it's only a 2-minute qualifying, so they need to get in and out as quickly as humanly possible. Sit in the pits too long, they won't get that hot lap done. Quite simple. Who's first out? Who's gone to... So there is G-Mac driving angry after it turns out his missus is the first ride this evening. I'm sorry, Gary. I couldn't help it, man. I couldn't help it. Out he goes. We'll have a look at all the... We'll have a look at who's picked what. I'm not going to bother trying... I'm going to do it this way because I can't be asked to try and work out just by looking. So he's gone for the Silvia. Rob's gone for that Citroen GT. Awesome car, actually. Wiggy, BMW by any chance? No, Wiggy has gone for that Mustang. McGann Trophy for Aussie Rooster. Indeed, he's gone for that McGann. Fubar with the Lexus RCF. TJ has gone for the, also gone for that Citroen GT. Rocket Robbie knows in the Citroen GT. There is Patrick, he's in the McLaren 650S. Stormfly also in the McLaren 650S. Manxman's gone for the Silvia. Willard in that Dodge Viper. Awesome little car. And Slippy at the back of the pack at the moment. He's also in the dodgy Viper. And I wonder if... I want to try something. Because we used to be able to use the F keys to turn things on and off. But they don't work anymore. That is a shame. So there we go. So there's your 11. They're about to set the first hot lap. And literally there is only 30 seconds left of qualifying, so no time to have saw them. Might actually, a couple of them might get a second crack at it if they're lucky. Certainly G-Max looking like he might get a second crack at it. We want to bring these back up, bring up the driver names back up. There we go. So G-Max going to set the first hot lap. That is a 52.8 or whatever it was, but wasn't that quick in the scheme of things, as Wiggy puts himself on pole with a 51.4. Straight away, knocked down to row 2. Stormfly, he goes with a 50.7. Manx just behind him with just half a second difference. Wiggy on row 2, he's got Slipstream with him on row 2. Row 3 with Fubar and Rocket Rob. He's actually outpaced quite a lot of them in that car. Well done, Rob. TJ, he's on row 4 with Aussie Rooster. Willard and G-Mac on row 5. And Patrick at the back of the pack with a 52.8. And I think pretty much everyone has got that done. Has anyone else got a second crack at it? Doesn't look like anyone's going. Well, actually, Wiggy's going super quick. Is he going to be able to improve and get himself onto pole? G-Mac sets a new fastest lap with a 51.9 for him, but not good enough to move him into that top 5. So there we have it. I think that's it done and dusted. And we will have a quick look at the qualifying order. It is Stormfly from TJ, Manxman from Wiggy, Rocket Rob from Slipstream, Fubar from Aussie, G-Mac, Willard and Avalon bringing up the rear. quite simply brilliant. So, moving swiftly on, everyone's checked in, no time to lose, start the race, boom shanker, let's get cracking. Now, this always makes for a brilliant, brilliant racing series because it's fast, it's frenetic. No one gets a chance really to practice. They lucked out with a relatively easy track to start off with. But I think what we're going to do over the course of Gauntlet is we're going to remove tracks off the roster as they are picked throughout the series of Gauntlet. And then what we'll end up with is tracks that haven't been used yet, quite simply. So, 3 lights, 4, 5 lights, they go out and we will be away. And there's a full start there for Manxman in that Silvia. He's going to get swallowed up by all those cars. And if you get dropped out of slipstream range here, you will suffer. It's going to be about 17, 18 laps or so of fast, frenetic, essentially oval racing. And if you're struggling, it's left. When's the next turn? It's left. The turn after that, it will be left. Stormfly leads them out in that McLaren. He's got TJ tucked in nicely behind him in that GT. He did a very, very good second qualifying lap to put himself up into that front row. Wiggy down in 3rd. He's got Rocket Rob in dizzy heights of 4th. Careful you don't get a nosebleed up there, my friend. Aussie Rooster in 5th. What happened to Manxman? That full start, he's tucked right in behind Slipstream at the moment, but that's dropped him right down to 9th position. A Slippy moving up to 7th, making the move here on Fubar. Can he get this move to stick? Tucked in right now behind Aussie. Good little Slipstream running down to turn 1. And can he make the move up the inside of Wiggy? It looks like he's going to try and get it done. He's sticking to that inside line. Rocket Rob going high. Wiggy staying high as well. He stays up in 4th position. Looking back down the order, there is Fubar. He's in 6th position. He has got GMAC tucked in behind him. That's the one I wanted. There is GMAC. Look at that gaggle of cars all tucked in there. At the moment, it's looking very, very dangerous for Avalon. He's in big, real danger of getting dropped out of the slipstream. And that will pull you out of this race altogether. Some dust kicking up there. Was there a little coming together? Has someone gone a little bit squirrely? No yellow flags. Looks like they're all hanging on for dear life. Out front, the battle between TJ and Stormfly is soon to be over because it looks like Stormfly is about to pull out. Once you get that gap, without a mistake, it's so difficult to pull it back in. You need to stay tucked in. They all go high. It is TJ, Rocket Rob running in 2nd and 3rd. What an absolute stonking race so far from Rocket Rob. Wiggy in behind, although he is being challenged quite significantly by both Slippy and Fubar, both in there, all looking to have a go. There's GMAC as well, all a little gaggle there, 4 or 5 cars, all batting it out for that 3rd position, 4th position, because it looks like Rocket Rob has had a little bit of an issue. Can we find out where it all went wrong for Rocket Rob? Well, he's there in 3rd, and he just gets swallowed up by these 4 cars just surround him and crowd him out of the race. So no real mistake for him, just the cars behind, tucked in and coming so quick, but Rob's still hanging on there in 4th position. Down the order, Manxman, he's gained a place, he's up into 8th after that full start. Ahead of him, that was Fubar, clipping the wall, he loses a position. He's moving down the order. Manxman makes that gain as Willard making a run. He's side by side with Fubar, gets to tuck in. These two have had some right battles lately in the last couple of races. Really had some good fights between them. I think particularly at Barcelona, there was a good battle going on between them for a while. There's Slippy still tucked in behind those cars in front. They've pretty much all gone for, a couple have gone for the soft compound tyres, which should hold on. I don't know if that inside left's going to hold on for the whole race, but it should hold on relatively well. But if we look, people like Slipstream, he's gone for the mediums. Hards for Wiggy, which I think is probably overkill, although we'll see when it comes. And that's GMAC clipping a wall. Lucky not to take anyone out with him. But look at that. We have got GMAC, Wiggy, Manxman, Willard, all battling it out there for a place in the top 3. That is also, I think everyone in the top 3 is in that gaggle at the moment. It's 3rd all the way down to 7th. All vying for a position on the racetrack. So close. Tucked right in behind his GMAC. giving Rocket Rob that little nudge up the road. They don't want to see the gap open up. It's 1.6 seconds is the gap to TJ, and 3.7 to Stormfly, who's going ever quicker. And Stormfly obviously going to be out of the mini challenge tomorrow, which is eagerly anticipated. And hopefully, we're hoping that the servers hold out tomorrow and don't scupper the start of the mini challenge as it did last week. So Rocket Rob in third, Slipstream up to fourth position. He's about to make that move on Rocket Rob, side by side. Slipstream moving up into third. Look behind, there's Manxman. He's coming through. Is he going to be able to make the move on Rob? No, but side by side at the moment, you can see him there. Was side by side with GMAC. He's now tucked in behind Willard. Where is Wiggy? Looks like Wiggy's had a bit of a problem because he's dropped back a little bit. So it looks like he may have made a mistake. He's 1.9 ahead of Fubar. Fubar also out. Did they have a little coming together maybe? Aussie right at the back of the pack now. Still hanging on with Avalon. But Avalon now has got the run on Phil coming down into turn one. That's a nice little bump draft. That's the way you need to work together. You need to close this gap. Yellow flag. We've had a TJ. Massive problem for him. What happened to him? Because he was running in second. Into turn one he goes. And then what happens to him? It all goes horrible. Was that a wheel failure? Because that spun him. Maybe he forgot he had to turn left. Because he's clearly turned right. Don't know what happened there, but seriously, how can you forget which way to turn, man? It's clearly left. But for some reason, he decided he wanted to turn right. So that just leaves Stormfly 7 seconds clear. He's going to have to pit for tyres. We're on lap 8, 6 minutes in to this 15-minute race. Rocket Rob is now up. Unbelievably, I'll say he's up in second. He's just lost out GMAC and Slipstream, making a double whammy move on him. And that's not the first time that GMAC's been involved in a double teaming. We're having a look here. There he is. This is TJ again making his mistake. You see there's no real... that could have been a netcode issue, to be fair. I'm looking at that there, with how close they were behind. Was that a netcode issue? Because he wasn't actually touched, but he did spin off to the right. So Slipstream is through, GMAC through, Manxman now through. That's your top four. As we're watching Manxman make his way into third, getting the job done there, round the outside of GMAC. GMAC not able to hold on, but that Slipstream is very strong. Sylvia versus Sylvia. Gold Sylvia round on the inside of that white Sylvia makes it look relatively easy. Rob still holding on in that top five. Side by side they go. It is Stormfly from Slipstream, from Manxman in third, GMAC in fourth place, but he's got Willard, he's got Rob tucked in behind him. Willard looking to use that Slipstream now to make the move. Talking of Slipstream, he's currently in second. Fubar and Star Group both were vying for that top three position. They're now tucked behind Avalon as we go into 7 minutes, almost halfway point of this race. In fact, just past the halfway point of this race. So Stormfly dives in on those soft compound tyres. Has Wiggy pulled a masterstroke on those hards? Because he will only need to stop once. It is a relatively high tyre wear, to be fair, for this track. And I have actually turned it down. We no longer go to 10. The maximum you can have is 5. And that was by request of Mrs. GMAC, to be fair. She felt that 10 was too many. Sorry. That promotes Slipstream to the lead of this race. He's on those medium tyres. Will he finish off with a stint on the softs? Clearly the softs will go half distance. We've seen that from Stormfly. If you're going to stop them, maybe soft was the answer. But that's the beauty of Gauntlet. You don't know how the car's going to react. You haven't had a chance to test. You haven't had a chance to practice. You're just getting chucked out. So you kind of got to use your... have a little think about it and sort of almost second guess what you need to do. And so Slipstream leading the way, 1.5 seconds over GMAC. He's got himself back ahead. Willard up to the dizzy heights of third. Is this a podium for Willard in the return of the Gauntlet? As it stands, he will need to pit shortly. GMAC will also need to pit shortly. Those tyres looking absolutely ropey as shit. Look at the state of that. That is awful looking. We've got Slipstream's got probably 2 or 3 more laps left in him. Is he going to try and risk it to the end? That would be a very, very bold move, I think. G-Mac's definitely going to have to pit. Willard behind him. He's on the medium tyres. He's probably got another lap or 2 in him. He's going to pull out and make that move on G-Mac. Not this time. There's Avalon. He's looked after his tyres really well. And he will be able to take these tyres to the end of this race. He's up into 4th. And all 3 cars ahead have to pit. There's Willard in. G-Mac staying out. Avalon now into the top 3. And he's not going to be pitting. Rocket Rob, he has to come in soon. Those tyres are shot. Wiggy, he's holding on. He's on the hards. He should be able to hold out on those hards. Might find himself a couple of positions further up. Yeah, they absolutely do. There was a bit of it going on early. But I think now they're more concerned with the state of their tyres, Phil. TJ back 1.1 seconds behind Wiggy. He's going to need to pit shortly. Unless, of course, they're being really, really brave. Aussie on those hard tyres. He doesn't need to pit, but he's not showing super phenomenal pace back there in 7th. Kind of relying now on the cars ahead going in. There is your pole sitter and previous race leader, Stormfly. He comes back out in 8th. He is looking pretty darn racy. Fastest lap of the race with a 50.4. But whether it's going to be good enough to make up that massive deficit and get him to the front, not quite sure. He is getting closer to Aussie. I say closer. He's made the move on Aussie. Next target, TJ. Can he get there? Aussie picking up a little bit of slipstream in the back. Willard comes out in 9th. Fubar in 10th. He's got Manxman crawling all over the back of him. This move is on like Donkey Kong. Is he going to stay there, or is it a little bumpy? That's what we need to see. Bump drafting up the road. Let's try and close these gaps now. He did have a look up the inside. Thought better of it in that Sylvia. And he's just going to tuck in behind again. Good run again. Give him a little bump. It's only a 2.6 seconds to Willard. They could close that very, very quickly. Slippy staying out. G-Mac on those soft compound tyres, opting to stay on those tyres. That could either be incredibly brave or incredibly stupid. And we will find out in the next 3.5 minutes which of that it is. Avalon's closing the gap though all the time, ever closer. He might be only on the mediums, but he's running to the end and he's got bags and bags of grip available to him. And you can see here the gap to GMAC just getting smaller with every passing yard, every mile. That gap smaller and smaller, and it won't be long before Avalon just pulls out and makes that move. GMAC trying to cover off the inside. He knows he's in trouble. He knows that Avalon's got him. He doesn't know what he can do to stop him. And the answer to that is absolutely nothing. As Avalon pulls out, crosses the line for the end of lap 15 and takes second. GMAC is back, he tucks in that slipstream, but he's not going to have any grip at all. And Stormfly, he is on a charge. 50.0, his fastest lap. Is there any opportunity to improve on that fastest lap? Can we see a sub 50 lap, somewhere in the 49s? He makes the move on GMAC. His tyres are gone. He makes the move on Avalon round the outside. Does it stick? Hell yes it does. He's looking super quick. Avalon in the top 3 briefly. Then GMAC back into the top 3. The switcheroo. They've been calling for the switcheroo, and the switcheroo's happening. Avalon up the inside again on GMAC. Doesn't make it work. GMAC hanging on. How is he making these tyres work? They are absolutely ruined. There is no rubber left there. And I tell you what, somebody's getting impregnated with rubber that worn. There's TJ back up to 5th. He's got Rocket Rob tucked in behind him. He's got Wiggy tucked in behind him. TJ's tyres, ropey. Rocket Rob's tyres, ropey. Wiggy's tyres, not quite. He's still got a bit of rubber left there. They're hanging on to the end of this race. No intent on pitting. They've just got to make sure the tyres don't give out and they don't hit a wall. There's Rocket Rob making the move. Can he make it stick? He's up the inside and he doesn't make the move. And in fact, Wiggy makes the move on him round the outside, and those tyres just starting to really play a part. Back to Aussie. His tyres looking good. needs to close at 2.1 seconds, but he's got no help with a bump draft from behind, and he's certainly not picking up any slipstream from Rocket Rob right now. He does need Rob to lose a bit of pace in order to gain that position. 12 seconds the gap back to Willard. This is the battle for ninth. Willard, Manxman and Fubar all within 1 second of each other pretty much. Fubar on the mediums, Manxman on those soft compound tyres. Willard also on the soft compound tyres, and it is a three-way battle for ninth position right now. Out in the lead is Slippy. He's got Stormfly crawling all over him. He's got the better tyre, Stormfly. He did pit. He takes the lead with just 9 seconds on the clock. This is the final lap as Stormfly takes the lead over Slipstream. And everybody else who gets through for another lap, Avalon does, GMAC does, TJ finishes 5th, Wiggy finishes 6th, Rocket Rob in 7th, Aussie finishes in 8th place. Willard will come home. Does he hang on for 9th? Manxman getting close to the line, and it's Willard from Manxman. Fubar coming in last place. But Stormfly flew past Slipstream with 9 seconds on the clock and crossing that line to gain them one final lap. And into the lead he goes. Avalon, brilliant job from him. He hung around at the back. He had a different game plan. He wanted to look after those tyres and push in the second half. And that's exactly what he's done. He's got GMAC there though. This battle not necessarily over. Stormfly. Slipstream spins before the line. Will he make it across? Will he make it across? He doesn't make it across. Slipstream ballses up the finish. Goes across the line in reverse, but loses second to Avalon. GMAC inexplicably takes third. And a little bit of shame on the face of Slippy. He went for the photo finish and absolutely fucked it up. What an absolute spunk monkey. So Stormfly wins that out in the 650S. Avalon, brilliant job from him in second. GMAC coming home in third. Slipstream in that Viper comes home in fourth. TJ in the GT by Citroen in fifth. Wiggy finishes in that Mustang in sixth. Seventh was Rocket Rob, also in the GT. Aussie in the McGann Trophy finishing in eighth. Ninth was Willard in the Viper. Manxman in the Sylvia was 10th. And Fubar in that RCF comes home in 11th. Done. Right, so reverse grid for race number 2. We're going to have to spinny and find out where we're at. So, without further ado, let's get back to the lobby. And let's get cracking with another spin, shall we? Patrick did start last, and that was an absolutely phenomenal finish from him, to be fair. Very, very impressed. So first thing we need to do is remove GR4 from the car list, shall we? Let's get that done now. GR4 is removed. Mrs. GMAC still on the list. We may be rolling Mrs. GMAC, and we'll see what happens with that. So, gonna chuck a roll in. Right, let's get the roll done first, and then we'll see where we're at. Where are we? There we go. So, roll time, here we go. Why is it not working? Why is my roll not working? Oh, wrong button. What do we got? What do we got? What do we got? We know it's not GR4. Is it Mrs. GMAC? Let it be Mrs. GMAC. It's not. It's the GR1s. It's at the Autodromo Nacional Monza. Full course. Tyre wear is 1. Fuel rate is 5. Weather is nice and sunny. Reverse grid, obviously, from the last race. Do need to edit the event settings. First thing needs to change is that, because there is no longer a qualifier. It is just practice and endurance race. I didn't see it. Well, no, to be fair, if you look, it didn't on the stream. You don't see him hit you. There is no contact on the stream. He may have hit you. He may have hit you, but on the stream it didn't show that. So you can call me a blind donkey all you like. Stick up your bum, because it might have happened on your screen, but it certainly didn't happen on mine. Otherwise, I would have noticed, wouldn't I? So basically, you just turned right when you should have turned left. Just admit it, and we can all move on. S12. There we go. Sunny with lots of monsoon clouds. So it's going to look like it's raining, but it's actually not. Tyre wear is ×1 this time, and the fuel wear up to ×5. Refueling should be 5 litres a second. We'll put that on. And we're in the GR1 cars. Vent settings changed. And we just need everyone to tick in so we can set grid. And we are reverse grid, of course, from that last race, which I'll need to bring up the results now. That would be quite useful, wouldn't it? Logging in. Just need everyone to tick in, of course, because I can't do it until they have done. So 2 ticked in thus far. I think everyone's trying to wangle themselves a little bit of practice time. I've got to change the track actually, that's what I haven't done. Oops. I pressed the wrong button. Oops. Sorry, I pressed the wrong button. I'm going to have to join the lobby again. I am an idiot. I apologise for that. This is why I shouldn't run the lobby and do the broadcast at the same time.
Make sure your mum sends you that money.
Proper knob.
Ah?
Back in a sec while I reset the lobby. New lobby up, people. Apologies for that. And it is correct this time. Yeah, that was a bit stupid. Yeah, I think going forward for Gauntlet, we'll do the rolls beforehand, and then I'll give it to somebody else to set it all up. I think that's the easiest way. I did actually do that previously for a previous Gauntlet, but we didn't have enough people for that. But yeah, this is the only problem because it takes so long to set up a lobby. Oh, you're absolutely right. Yes, I am an absolute bellend. Absolute bellend. And yes, James, I am a tit indeed. Suck it, because I really don't give a fuck what you think. Now hurry up and tick in so I can set the grid. So just waiting for everyone to tick, ticky, tick, tick. To be fair, this makes great racing, but I'm not sure it makes great broadcasting. Because of this, we need to find a way. Look, everyone get out there and practice. Stop practicing so I can get ticked in. Aussie Graham, get ticked in. Just waiting for Graham now. I can actually start setting the grid now, actually. Right, let's start setting the grid. So it is reverse order. So Stormfly will start at the very, very back of the grid, way down in 11th position. He will be joined down there by Avalon, who I say lucked out, but it was more skill than luck, I think. GMAC, that was definitely luck. Those tyres were ropey, but manages to hold on. Slippy, massive, massive cock up at the end, and that puts him down in 8th position. TJ, he claims he was hit from behind, not too hard. He claims he was hit from behind, so he is going to be going in ahead of Slipstream. So does he get battered by Slipstream again? Wiggy will be ahead of Slippy, no TJ. Then we'll have Rocket Rob. Good finish from him actually. Rocket Rob in where will he be? He'll be up there anyway. Aussie, where's Aussie? Is Aussie ticked in yet? Aussie's there. Aussie's ahead of Rob, and then the last couple, which will be, or last three in fact, which will be Willard when he gets back, Manxman, and then Fubar. So I'm going to apply that and just wait for Willard to get ticked in. Where's he gone? I'm assuming he's coming back. Let's pretend that he is. I'll give it a minute for him to get back and then we'll get cracking, because I don't want any guys to have any opportunity to practice. Anyone that's watching this, check out tomorrow, because tomorrow is the opening round of the Black Flag Mini Challenge, eagerly awaited mini challenge. It is just the Mini Coopers on lots of different short tracks with a set tune. The cars are so much fun to drive, and with the ECU restrictions after race number 1, it really does mix up the field and gives anyone an opportunity to win that. That is going to be a very, very close fought contest, I think, over the next few weeks. And it's the brainchild of our very own Stormfly, who unfortunately is not going to be home in time to race in it. But I'm sure he'll be watching from afar. Just need Willard to tick in. Come on, Graham, he has done so. We can now set the grid and then we can get cracking. So he will be in 3rd position. Starting grid. Where is he? He's there. Let's move him up the order to 3rd. Then we go boom. I'm not even, they're all ticked in, so they're all obviously ready to go. Let's just get started. So here we go, round number 2 of Gauntlet. We've got, I don't know why I forgot to set it at 15 minutes, it's 20 minutes this time. Oh well, ho hum. Just goes to show that I should not be allowed to host and broadcast at the same time. It's far too much effort for my tiny, tiny little mind. Right, there we go. So it is Fubar on pole with Manxman joining him. Are we going to see these quicker guys like Slippy, like Avalon, like Wiggy, like Stormfly? We're going to see those guys diving through early. Good opportunities for Slipstream here, with it being Monza, of course. Fubar with an absolute rocket start. And these cars, these Group 1 cars at Monza, are going to be an absolute doozy of a race. Into turn 1 we go. This is where it goes horribly wrong. And it is Crashville into turn 1. I don't know who that was that went flying off. Somebody went absolutely mental through there. That was insanity. Let's have a quick look and see if we can catch some of what happened. Who was that went shooting down? I don't even know, but they were, yeah, it went horribly wrong. But as it's Gauntlet, there are no red flags, there are no rules. And that is an absolute clusterfuck into turn 1. And I've got to say, You know, TJ with a 5-second penalty. So he clearly went for it into turn 1. While I will say there is no stewarding here, I will say that it doesn't give you free rein to drive like a big fat penis. So just be a little aware of yourself, please. And TJ with that 5-second penalty will get swallowed up like the big fat ballsack that he is. And here we go, all the cars streaming past us. Let's watch him get overtaken by many, many cars. Back in 9th he is. So Aussie leads the way in that Mazda. Fubar in 2nd in the LM55. Willard has gone for that Nissan RCP 92, or as he knows, he's in the Mazda. What's he in? I can't tell. Who cares? No, he's in the RCI. He's in the Fubar's in the Peugeot. Willard's in the LM55. GMAC is in the Mazda. Can't tell what pack on. I should be able to recognise these cars by now. There is Stormfly. He's back in 7th, so that's already a bit of a dive through the field. Now he is in one of those really old cars, so really, really quick in a straight line. So you're going to see, particularly down to turn 1 and heading up to Ascari, these older cars absolutely rocketing. There is Slipstream tucked in behind him. He's gone for that Mazda. Do love the livery on that. Very, very cool. TJ back in 9th place. That is because he had a massive penalty for driving into turn 1 like a big, massive bull in a massive china shop. Rocket Rob in 10th, and he's got Wiggy way back in 11th, who was probably the biggest victim of the turn 1 shenanigans. Who's gone for soft tyres? Everybody's gone for softs, because they're not going to have to stop for tyres, but they are all going to have to stop for fuel at some stage. It is definitely fuel stop territory for every single one of these guys. And another penalty for TJ. So clearly driving standards are quite low down the order in the Big Bellends household today. So he'll serve that at the towards the end of lap 3. They've got 20 minutes this time out because I forgot to change the time because I am an idiot. Aussie Rooster leads the way, 1.3 seconds from Manxman, who is half a second up from Fubar Philantis. He's under pressure from GMAC. GMAC makes that move. GMAC's up into 3rd. Is he the dark horse today? He's going to have to stop for fuel about 15 times. And ironically, actually, I think the first time we all raced with GMAC was on this racetrack way back with the team who shall not be named. But at the moment, he's currently running in 4th position. He's got Stormfly. He's now back into he's back behind Fubar. Stormfly is up into 5th. 3.1 seconds from TJ. Going to serve that 3-second penalty. And we'll see Willard and Avalon just drift on through. He's not going to be able to hold them off heading up to Ascari as he is now. Under that little bridge, you're looking for your brake point on this right-hand side. Onto the brakes, turning in. Then you can use that power, that really, really hot power. But that's not the word I'm looking for. That'll do anyway. To take him down past that. Willard's got a penalty as well. But he got it so late, he doesn't have to serve it until next lap, which is a bit of a bonus for him. It does allow him to move up the order. There's your race leader. He's holding on. He's 1.6 seconds clear. We're on lap 4. It's 5 minutes into what should have been a 15-minute race, but it's actually turned out to be a 20-minute race because I am incapable of hosting a lobby and broadcasting at the same time. When women say men can't multitask, they're absolutely right. We cannot. If you want me to... Yeah, you know what? I really want Aussie to win this one. I'm rooting for Aussie. I'm rooting for Manxman as well to get himself a podium. That'll be awesome. Stormfly, though, is looking pretty darn racy. 1:35.6 from him. He is running in 3rd, 1.6 seconds behind Manxman. Fubar deserves a podium as well. He's 1.5 behind. He's currently 1.1 out of 1.2 ahead of GMAC. Willard up there in the top 6, but he's got that 2.5 second penalty. That's going to allow Avalon and TJ to come back on through. Further back, Wiggy's made his way up to 9th. Rocket Rob is ahead of Slippy, who, I don't know what happened to him, but, he's been in the pits, that's why. Slippy has decided to go in early doors. Of course, tyres are not the consideration here, it is just fuel. So clearly, we know that it's going to be another stop between now and the end of the race. Not necessarily if it had been a 15-minute race as it should have been, but because it isn't, it will be another stop for them. Aussie Rooster, cock-a-doodle-hoo. Aussie Rooster, that's who. He's ahead of Manxman. As we see Fubar in G-Mac into the pits. Manxman making a move into the lead, up into the braking zone, into that first chicane. How long can he hold on for though? We're looking at the, let's bring up fuel and tyre details for all of you. Aussie got a good run out of there, really good run. Round the outside as it curves round, but he cannot hold that. He has to tuck in as they come down to that second chicane. And very important to get these two chicanes right. You can see into the braking zone they go. Now you move into the two Lesmos, Lesmo 1 and Lesmo 2, and there is Stormfly right there. That's your top 3. Manxman 7/10 from Rooster, half a second to Stormfly, 5.5 seconds back to TJ, who despite driving like an absolute fuck monkey, who has been afflicted by blindness and has no testicles, has managed to make his way up to 4th, even with a lot of penalties. So driving actually quite well at the moment. He's going to have to pit this lap though. Stormfly, will he hold on for one more? Quite fuel hungry lap this end. Aussie Rooster, he'll probably pit this lap. Manxman can actually go another lap, which will give him a nice big gap. Now if he goes hammer time, and does with Wiggy doing a 1:35.1, so wouldn't count him out just yet. He's a little bit further back, but don't count him out just yet with times like that. But Manxman in a really good position because Stormfly into the pits. Aussie Rooster, he'll go into the pits. TJ is in. Avalon, he'll come in. Wiggy, he'll come in as well. G-Mac has pit, so that is what we were looking at in a minute, because we'll see how many people he can get past to allow Manxman up the road. Now this is a really big coup for Manxman, because if he goes hammer time here and puts in anywhere near that 35.1, he could find himself in a very good position. Stormfly comes out, the gap is 24 seconds. He hasn't fueled all the way. He's done what will probably take him to the end of this race. They started half a tank, didn't they? So should make it to the end with what he's put on board. The tyres certainly will last, but it's really about how long Manxman spends in those pits. He's made that half tank of fuel last essentially half distance. He only needs to do that same again, and could potentially go hammer time. TJ comes out in 3rd. Aussie Rooster losing out, makes the move back. They're side by side through the chicane. That's an interesting line from TJ. That should be a penalty, but it looks like he's got away with it. That is absolute travesty, and if Michael Massey is watching, he should be kicked right in the bollocks for not pulling up on track limits, although he doesn't do that job anymore. So Aussie's now back in 4th position. This is how the top 4 look right now. 25 seconds to Stormfly, 5.7 to TJ, half a second, or a second should we say, to Aussie, half a second to G-Mac. Then we look at the next gaggle of drivers. It's Fubar, 1.1 from Wiggy, who's 2 seconds up from Avalon. Wiggy the fastest man on the racetrack right now with that 35.1. Avalon is 2.1 behind, 2.4 ahead of Slippy. 2.7 ahead of Willard, who's 19.2 seconds up from Rocket Rob. Manxman doesn't come out in the lead, is 1.7, 1.8, about 2 seconds by the time he goes into the chicane. Behind Stormfly, 2.4 clear of TJ. That is a phenomenal move from him, because he's come out with, he's put in exactly half a tank of fuel. He made it half distance with half a tank. He knows by driving the same, he can do the same. and his pace hasn't been all that shabby, although he's done a 35.9, but mostly lapping in those low to mid 36s. TJ, other than his 35.6, has been in the 30, done one in 36, 39 and a 40. So he's been a little bit off the pace, as has GMAC as well. Seems to be struggling a bit. Have a look at Stallfly's pace. At full pelt, he's firmly in those 35s. We'll see what his pace looks like now, because this will be the representative. Aussie in the 37s. Fubar, he's out in those 36.7, but 37.38 for him. What happened there to Fubar? That didn't look too tasty at all. So here he comes up towards the Ascari. He's got Wiggy in behind him. You can see Wiggy tucked in that slipstream as they head under that Brembo sign, and he just loses it into Ascari. And was that a reset to track I saw? I think it was. Cheeky monkey. That's all I'm going to say. Naughty. Wiggy up to 6th, slipstream up to 7th. Patrick now up to 8th, although good run on Slippy. Across that start-finish line into turn 1. He's got that inside line. He makes the overtake under braking. Can he hold it? Does into the first part. Comes out into the second part. Does Slippy go for the switcheroo? Oh, no, he doesn't. Slippy dropping down to 8th place, but he is tucked in there behind Avalon as we go into the second half, firmly into the second half of this race. He's on the inside this time. Is he going to return the favour? Under braking into the chicane they go. This is all about car performance. They're both in that Mazda. It's all about driver. Into the Lesmos they go, and Slippy just pulling out a little bit of clear air. And Manxman has lost second place. I'm looking at them now. Mediums on Patrick's car, which is interesting because it's unnecessary putting the mediums on that. It looks like that was an error because everybody else putting on soft compound tyres, and the tyre wears at 1, so no need to put on anything other than softs. He's had a PM10 moment at least, but at least I suppose he put slicks on. Out in the lead. What's happened to Stormfly? He was in the lead. What happened to him? Because he's not there anymore. He was serving a penalty, and that's allowed TJ, despite his shenanigans into turn 1, he's in the lead of this race with a 1:34.0 fastest lap, 2 seconds clear of Manxman. They are running first and second, both in that Nissan R92. GMAC also, he's in the Mazda. He's running in third, 5 seconds clear of Aussie. Aussie still with a chance, also in that Mazda, of making his way into the top 3. But Stormfly back at it again after that penalty. He's got Wiggy right behind him, and Wiggy has been a little bit quicker than him thus far. But Wiggy picking up a penalty, that's going to scupper his chances. He's more than anything going to want to make this overtake now, as he's tucked right in behind, looking for a way through. But Stormfly just making the car that little bit bigger as they head down to Ascari for the 9th time. And we're looking at probably another, probably about 5 laps left of this 20-minute, 15-minute race. It is, yeah, that Nissan's an absolute beast. Absolutely love that car. It's so quick. But it's a handful through the corners, though, Paul. That's the problem. Oh, and while he's here watching, big congratulations to PM10 Racing, who's currently watching live with us, for hitting 300 subscribers on YouTube. Check him out. He is going to be massive. Get in at the ground floor. So when everyone goes, you heard of that PM10? You go, yeah, I've subscribed to him when he was like little. It's because of me that he's up there. Trust me, definitely worth watching. He will be the next of the track guide guys to hit 1,000 subs. I don't think it'll be very long before he does. He might come back and race one day. Who knows? Who knows? Stormfly is around Aussie up into 4th. Aussie can stay tucked in there though. He's going to have a good run down to this second chicane. Not close enough to make a move. Can Stormfly hold on? I think he's going to be okay. But he's given himself a lot of work to do. 7.8 seconds to GMAC. We haven't given much love to the back of the grid. There it is, Rocket Rob. Not so much a rocket as a bit of a donkey at the moment. He always drives in last. I'm only kidding. He is 16 seconds behind Willard, who is running 20 seconds behind Fubar. These guys have overfueled a lot in their pit stop, which hasn't helped. Fubar just 8 tenths behind Wiggy, who's now 1.8 behind Avalon, who, despite being on the medium compound tyres, is showing some great pace in that Mazda. You would have expected those guys behind on the softs to have closed that gap a little bit quicker. 5.2 to Slipstream, who is now tucked in behind Aussie. He's going to be trying to chase down Stormfly. No love lost between those two on track. Great rates off of it, but on track it is on like Donkey Kong between those two. And Slippy will want to dramatically improve after that massive cock up in that first race, and he does into turn 1, move up into 5th. Absolutely gets it horribly wrong though, and we can let's watch him fuck this up again, because he fucked it up in race 1. He's fucked it up again in race 2, and there's nothing we like more than watching a man absolutely cock shit up. And there he does, cocks it up so bad that even his wife is like, we're getting a divorce. The embarrassment, she's just phoned me actually and just said she's really embarrassed, and can I tell everybody. So there we go. Mrs. Slipstream is very embarrassed. Aussie Rooster regains 5th place, but the gap to Stormfly now 4.5 seconds. 7.8 to GMAC, running in that top 3, and it's only 3 seconds separate TJ, Manxman and GMAC in the top 3 at the moment, and still anyone's race. TJ holding on. He's got the fastest lap with a 34.0. Just did a 34.5 in that R92. Sorry, he did a 35.3. So Manxman actually a little bit quicker on that last lap. In fact, the last couple of laps as well for GMAC. GMAC doing a 34.666, number of the beast. A 34.846 and a 34.375. We have one lap remaining just. In fact, so it might be 2 laps for these guys. In fact, I would have, yeah, I think these top 3 have got 2 laps remaining. Stormfly, it's going to be a big ask. I don't think there's enough time, or there might just be enough time in the tank for Stormfly to get that extra lap. But Slippy, he's ahead now of Aussie, but how long can he hold on? This is going to be a last ditch effort from these guys to make it to the end, because we head into the last minute of this race. We're actually 5 minutes longer than it should have been, but you know, who cares? It is what it is. These guys love to race. They're not going to complain about extra track time, not in the slightest. Not bearing in mind that a lot of these guys did fantastic 2-hour stints at Watkins Glen over the weekend. It's so fucking hot, man. It's ridiculous. There's your race leader. G-Man got up into 2nd round. Manxman, he's about to challenge the leader for this race with just 26 seconds remaining of this 20-minute race here at Monza. If you're just joining us, this is Gauntlet from Black Flag. No one knows what they're racing until the last minute. And into Parabolica, G-Mac takes the lead. And again, we're going to have a 1-lap shootout. TJ regains the lead. It's going to be a 1-lap shootout for TJ and GMAC. Does Manxman or Stormfly? Manxman into the pits. Didn't have enough to make it to the end. So Stormfly does get through. Slipstream gets through. Manxman also through. He's going to be 5th because the gap to Slipstream is 5.6 seconds. Just didn't quite have enough fuel to make it. Aussie in 6th. Fubar was 7th. Wiggy in 8th. 9th was Avalon. Willard and Rocket Rob will come home in 10th and 11th. But TJ and GMAC are battling it out for the lead of this race. GMAC on that penultimate lap round the Parabolica took 1st place from TJ. And then straight away TJ with that Slipstream, with the power of that Nissan, regained 1st into turn 1. So it is literally going to be a straight shootout between the big gay wedding and G to the McDonald's for the win here. And they are G-Max. Got it all kinds of wrong. And how about that for fucking it up right at the end? Snatching defeat from the jaws of victory like an absolute big, massive tit. And there you go, you deserve that for calling me a tit. Karma bites, motherfucker. Yellow flag up ahead. There is TJ. He takes the win. GMAC comes home in second. Stormfly, despite having a penalty and losing quite some places, does regain third place. Slippy, does he fuck it up this time? No, he does not. And Manxman will come home in 5th position. He just didn't have quite enough fuel to make it to the end. So comes home in 5th position. Awesomeness. So that's 2 races where the lead has been decided right at the death. It was TJ in that R92 despite his shenanigans into turn 1. From GMAC, Stormfly in 3rd, Slipstream in the LM55 came in 4th. We saw Manxman coming home in 5th, Aussie in 6th, Fubar in 7th, 8th was Wiggy, 9th was Avalon. Willard, despite having a 2-second penalty, finishes in 10th in that awful 908. And yeah, lucky boy. And Rocket Rob coming home in the final position in 11th position. So, TJ to be disqualified. No. Right. We're going to do one more. Should we do one more? Right, so first things first, I need to remove GR1 from the list of the cars. Let's get that done first. So, still on the wheel we have GR2s, we have GR3, and we still have, of course, the lovely Mrs. GMAC, who has already rolled once, but we're going to roll her again because that's how we roll. There we go. So, what have we got for them this time out? Hopefully a good one. It's going to be, I think, GR2 or GR3, obviously. What we get, though, will be interesting to see. Shall we do it? Let's just do it. Fuck it. Let's just get this done, shall we? Let's find the correct button. GR3 at Road Atlanta. Tyre wear 2, fuel rate times 5. It is at night. You can't see that bit, but I can. I could make that bigger and show you, but it is at night. I can assure you of that. There we go. It's 3 races this evening, not 4, just 3. We'll see what the time is. Maybe we'll have a break in between the next one, and we'll see if everyone's still up for another race. Right, so let me set the lobby correctly this time. Less haste, more speed, eh? So we are Road Atlanta. Where's Road Atlanta? There it is. Mitchell Raceway Road Atlanta. Full course, of course, because that's the only one available. Time is actually 15 minutes. And we're at time of day night. And it's SO1, which we're on. Preset weather, which will be... we've got it there already, SO1. BOP. Tyre wear rate is ×2. Fuel consumption is ×5. Half a tank as usual. And we are GR3. Set by host. I think I have actually not cocked it up this time. How about that? I've managed to set a lobby without fucking something up. So just wait for everybody to tick in and then we will set the grid by host. Because that's how I roll. That's what I do. I set the grid by host now. I'm not just a broadcaster and a fucking awesome fat bald man. I also set the grid by host. It's going to be a reverse grid yet again. So we'll get to see whether. So that's two. That's two top threes for Stormfly. But yeah, we're gonna have a 2 minute break. So we've got it rolled. Everyone can check in. But yeah, we'll have a quick 2 minute break and then we will be back. How about that? The room is not resetting. Why is the room not resetting? Well, that's a bit freaking stupid, isn't it? See, I shouldn't be host because I'm doing so many other things. Hang on. I'm going to have to make the room again then, aren't I? Well, that's a bit shit. What the fuck is that? Right, let's go again, shall we? Yeah, I think from next week, or from the next Gauntlet, we will we'll come up with a better solution. Yeah, here's shit host. I've never made any aspersions to be anything other than a shit host, so let's be very clear about that. And for some reason, oh, there it is. Right, so let's go again, shall we? It is practice an endurance race. We're racing for fun, of course we are, because we can't take this shit seriously because it's run by an absolute fucking spunk muffin. Time limit 15 minutes. Let's get this correct. Night race, and equidistant mode is off. Fastest first. No, it's not. It's set by host. Filter by category. GR3. Use any tyres you like. I really don't care. What have we got? We've got tyre wear times 2. You just have to fucking wait. I'm delaying you for my own entertainment. I think that's everything. I'm just double checking so you lot can fuck off and stop calling me a cunt. Right, there we go. Right, create room. It is what it is. If it's wrong, tough shit. Hurry up and get ticked in, you big bunch of wankers. Actually, you need to get in the room first. Right, room is now open again. All right, Wiggy. Next week we will we'll do what we planned to do before, where I'll film the rolls beforehand, and we'll edit it in, and make it nice and seamless, like we actually know what we're doing. That would be quite useful, wouldn't it? Do you know the great thing about a black flag, right? This is one thing I love about it, is that we can actually give a professional impression to other people. But occasionally, the fact that mostly me doesn't have a fucking clue what I'm doing stands out quite well. And I think we hold up quite well in that respect. Let's see if in this final race here at the Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta, if we can keep it clean, would be quite nice. Particularly Slippy and TJ. Now, I'm not admitting that Slippy hit TJ by any stretch of the imagination, because that's not what I saw. But we do know that TJ drove into turn 1 at Monza like he was blind, essentially. It's like he went to Stevie Wonder's driving school. And
how dare you?
Yes, how very dare you. But in terms of entertainment,
Wow, is very nice.
If Wiggy, Ozzy and Willard can get themselves checked in, and who else are we missing? Who's not back? Rocket Rob, where are you, man? Especially turns 1, 2 and 3. To be fair, when we're talking about TJs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Is Rocket Rob coming back? Let's set the grid from what we've got thus far. How about we do that? How about I actually click the right button would be useful. Edit event settings. No, I'm going to do that. I'm joking. Starting grid. Right, okay, so reverse grid time. And this time, TJ at the very back. And I'm not sure whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, in all honesty. In fact, I would suggest that having TJ at the back is probably worse. And given the choice, they'd probably stick him out in front. Where he can be kept an eye on. Stormfly again. Looking for excuses that he didn't win. He didn't win. Didn't need an excuse. He picked up a penalty, otherwise he would have roasted you motherfuckers. And we all know it. Manxman is there just behind Slippy. Or was it just ahead of Slippy? Hang on. Yeah, just ahead of Slippy. Then we've got Ozzy. Ahead of Manxman. We've got Fubar, who's ahead of Ozzy. Look at this, nice and quick. Nice and professional. Then we've got Wiggy. Next page. Is Rob coming back? Then we've got Avalon. And then we've got Willard. So, is Rob returning? Let's ask the question. Is Rob coming back? Okay, he is coming back. I've just seen that. He's coming back. Okay, well, he needs to hurry up because we're ready to go. And, you know, what happens. So, what have we got? Willard's gone for the AMG GT3. Patrick has gone for, very surprisingly, because he doesn't often pick this car, the 911 RSR. Wiggy also gone for that, the 2020 version as well of the AMG GT3. The R8 for Fubar. The F-Type Jaguar for Ozzy, not surprisingly. Manxman for the 911. The GTR for Slippy. Stormfly in that 911. G-Mac in the 650S, as is TJ. And we're just waiting to find out what Rob is doing and what car he's going to be in before we start this final gauntlet race here at Road Atlanta in the night time. How long are we going to give Rob before he returns? We'll give him a minute or so. I'm assuming he's going to log back in or whatever. I need to update the soundboard because I've still got some of the old favourites on, like.
I crashed.
You crashed! How are you coming fast?
And, of course. But he's not been here for a while. No, Mikey, no. But yeah, I think I'm going to spend a day this week updating the soundboard for you absolute wank puffins. No, this should actually. You're right, Jay. I think this will be a really good race. If it keeps clean, I think this will be a very good race. But if we can ever get started, because obviously we're waiting for Rob to return. Is that Rob coming in now? It is indeed. Here he comes. We ended up with just 11 of the 13 we expected. Bennett didn't show, neither did the Grizz Trooper. He's there. He's coming in now. Just need him to pick a car and tick in. Pick a car, any car.
Johnny loves Chachi!
Johnny does indeed love Chachi. My kids bought me a thing of dad jokes. Do you hear some? While we're waiting for Rocket Rob to tick in. Why don't you ever see an elephant hiding in a tree? Because they're really good at it. What kind of hair do oceans have? Wavy. How'd you get an astronaut's baby to sleep? You rocket. Talking to Rocket, tick in, man. Tick in. What's the most musical bone? The trombone. Right, enough of all that shit. Right, let's... Did I sort out that dock in the end? Yeah, I did, but it did, for some reason it's uploading the old one each time. I'll work out why and sort it. Right, so Rob gets moved to the front of the grid, being that he was last. We can apply that. Everyone's ticked in. I'm assuming they've got the correct tyres. And nothing more to do than to start the race. Tyre wear times 2, fuel weight times 5. There will be a pit stop, I imagine, at least one. I think it'll just be the one pit stop, unless you want stupid and doesn't pit stop properly. Boom Shanker, in we go. Final race of Gauntlet ensues. Display all. So we've got 5 lights. They'll go on, and then when they go out, we begin the final race of Gauntlet this evening. That's 3, that's 4, that's 5 lights, and away we go. How long can Rocket Rob hold off the charge of those cars behind? Will we see Willard hold on in that top 3? What about Ozzy? Will he get himself a podium? What about Manxman? Can he fight his way through and get himself up into the top there? Rocket Rob off the racetrack and all the way down to the very last spot. And Willard in the lead of this race in that Mercedes-Benz. Fubar making a move. Little touch. 2 little touches. Sitting in a tree. K-I-S-S-I-N-G. And that was... It was a little touch from Fubar. And then it sort of pushed the car into Stormfly's path. What happened to Wiggy? He has disconnected. So Stormfly in the lead. Slippy second. GMAC is third. Getting a little bit squirrely. There is TJ in 4th. Manxman running in 5th. Avalon in 6th. Willard in 7th. Aussie in 8th. Fubar in 9th. And Rocket Rob is in 10th. Not usual for us to see Wiggy getting disconnected like that. So I'm wondering if we're having some lobby issues again this week. I certainly hope not, because it was a crying shame on Tuesday losing the Mini like we did. And I really hope it holds out well for this week. So there we go, 10 drivers remain. Sorry we lost Wiggy, that's a crying shame. So Stormfly leads the way, 7/10 of a second clear of Slippy. These two are going to have a right ding-dong battle to the end here, I imagine. GMAC running in third. He's got Manxman behind him. Well, I'll have a little talk about driving standards after this race. Manxman in fourth, and it's 1.7 to TJ, who has himself a juicy penalty. That will, despite the fact he's gone purple, make sure he doesn't have the fastest lap, and that will fifth place, shall I say, will become the possession of Avalon there in sixth. Tyres and fuel. Let's have a little look. So softs all the way through the field. Nobody opting to start on any other tyre. It's a very low tyre wear, so softs should be the way of the world here. So Stormfly does lead the way by 1.3 seconds in that Porsche 911. He's got behind him, he's got the GTR of Slipstream, and they're already 3.7 seconds clear of GMAC running in third. Manxman in fourth place, right up behind GMAC. And I'll tell you what, Manx has been bringing some great racing over the last few weeks to Black Flag, really stepping up with some phenomenal performances. It'd be good to see if he starts racing with us on a regular basis in some other series, because he's certainly got some pace about him. And he wouldn't be too amiss if he wanted to ever compete in one of the endurance events. Hint, hint, Manxman. You want to get involved in one of our endurance teams? Please do get involved. Yeah, it was a little bit. It was after turn 2, wasn't it? With that little coming together. Yeah, I'm gonna have a little talk about driving standards after this race, and then we'll make a decision. We'll have a talk about it because it's all for being relaxed, but it's getting a little bit silly, shall we say. Manxman makes that move on GMAC, nice and cleanly up into third he goes, and GMAC dropping down to fourth place. Can't sustain that pace of Manxman. TJ in fifth, and he's just 1.3 ahead of Avalon at the moment. How long can he hold off that charge? Fubar in fourth, 4.2 seconds back. He's got Aussie just 2 seconds behind him, with Willard 8.5 behind Aussie at the moment, holding off Rocket Rob by 20 seconds. Lap 3 or lap 4 now for everybody bar Rob, who's just going to complete lap 3. Coming up to the 1/3 mark, so it's going to be about I think 14 laps, maybe there or thereabouts, over the course of this 15-minute race. Fastest lap thus far with this man right here, Stormfly, is 1.3 seconds clear with a 1:18.0. But Slipstream not by any stretch of the imagination letting him go. He's sticking with him, and they're actually pulling away quite significantly at the moment from Manxman in third. He's half a second up from GMAC, who is nearly 6 seconds clear of the crashy man, TJ Carr, crashy man. 2.1 seconds up from Avalon, 3.3 back to Fubar. No real battles going on the racetrack, but it seems to be quite settled, quite stale at the moment. We'll go on board with Slipstream and see with Slipstream, and we'll see just how close he is. That's that view there. As you can see him chasing down Stormfly, he's keeping it within that sort of just outside that 1 second mark. Which obviously is ideal for Stormfly. You want to see him back there. Slipstream with the fastest lap of the race now, that 1:18.0. Is he starting to rein him in? We're looking at the tyres and fuel. We can look for both actually, and you can see there that actually Stormfly a little bit heavier on the fuel in that 911. So we'll have to stop a bit sooner, and of course put a little bit more fuel on board. Does that aid Slipstream? In terms of pace, there's not much separating these two. 18.0, 18.1, 18.0, 18.2. They're both putting in very, very solid lap times. GMAC has got back up into third. He's made the move around Manxman and pulled out actually 1.5 seconds over him. Gap to TJ still back. Stormfly into the pits. Slippy will come round and take the lead of this race. How big a gap can he build is question number one. And question number two is, does this extra lap benefit him in any way? Is it a big enough lead to win him? And Rob all over the place there. And Slippy has to get a little bit cautious coming into this tricky section. Just to make sure he doesn't have a coming together with Rob there, but does successfully make it through alive. Avalon also staying out. He's up into second. Everybody else, bar Willard, who's coming in now. Rob, I'm sure, will come in at some stage, but not quite yet. Everybody else into the pits. 3-second penalty for Stormfly. That is going to have an impact. So he would have had to spend a slight, a second longer in the pits. A second or two longer in the pits than Slipstream. But those 3 seconds on that penalty is going to cost him about 4.5 in terms of time. He's far enough ahead of GMAC for it not to affect track position there. But how close can he get to Slipstream when Slipstream comes in? And this is when you're going to see him come in. Now, into the pits, he comes at the end of lap number 6, as we've got just over 8 minutes gone on the clock. Avalon's coming down. He's got loads of fuel on board. He can actually stretch this stint out quite a lot. He's past the halfway mark. Is he going to have a go at taking this to the end? And if he does, is it too much short shifting, too much fuel saving? Because although he's in the lead at the moment, if he's going to have to extra fuel save to make it to the end, Stormfly is going to be coming fast. Why are you coming fast? Because I'm Stormfly. And they're both, of course, in that 911, so it's going to be a similar car performance. Slippy comes back out in the head of Stormfly by 6.2 seconds. He's certainly got enough fuel on board in that GTR, so really now all he's got to do is kind of hold Stormfly at bay. The question mark, of course, the pace of Avalon, it is sort of 2 to 3 seconds a lap actually down on Slippy and Stormfly. 1 second penalty there picked up by Slippy. That's not ideal. So he will decelerate here. It shouldn't cost him. It will cost him a couple of seconds in terms of that gap, but it shouldn't cost him too much. And I would imagine that Avalon will be seeing Slipstream in his mirrors in probably about 2.5 laps time, and then of course Stormfly maybe a lap or two later. We look back in fourth. That is GMAC. Now I think his battle at the moment is going to be with Avalon. Avalon's going to struggle pace-wise to keep up with Stormfly and Slippy. But Gary, right there, he's only 10.5 seconds behind them. It could very well be, and if you look at his pace is, well, it was quicker with a 19.0. If he can up that pace and keep it in those 19s, he could potentially be challenging Avalon. Manxman 3.4 back, consistently in the low 19s. I think GMAC needs to start looking in his mirrors relatively quickly, because there's going to be a Manxman in there very soon. 2.7 seconds back to TJ. 19.6 his last lap, and yeah, plenty of fuel to get to the end. 19 seconds clear of Fubar. His last lap was a 20.3, and that's where he sits in terms of pace in those low 1 minute 20s. Aussie Rooster 21.7. He's struggled a little bit with pace on this particular circuit, and finds himself a little bit off the pace of Fubar ahead, 4.3 seconds back. Currently 15 seconds clear of Willard, who hasn't done better than a 23.0. But sits 12 seconds clear of Rob. We've lost Wiggy to a disconnection now. I don't know whether that was a enforced disconnection or a pissed off with the driving standards disconnection, which is never a nice thing to happen, but we will have that conversation. So Avalon leads the way at the moment. The gap is now down to 2.2 seconds. I did think he was going to try and make it to the end. I think that might be a futile exercise. Maybe he's realised now it's a futile exercise, and he starts to up the pace, jumps in and tries to salvage something from this race. Slippy close now. It's 1.2 seconds. You can see just how close he is to the back of that 911 in the GTR. The gap between him and Stormfly is close to 2.7 seconds. Despite doing an 18.4 on that last lap, Stormfly with a 1:17.7. His intentions are very, very clear, that he fully intends to race this to the line. And very possibly we could have that again. We've had it in the previous two races, that race to the line, and we could certainly see that yet again. 2.4 seconds is that target, and he's going quicker still. Currently purple. I want to see if he beats that 17.7 in that 911. But at the moment, Slipstream has made that move. He's ahead of Avalon now. It is GTR Porsche. And that could be a Eurovision winning song. The gap to Avalon 1 second and closing. 2.8 to Slippy the leader. Just 8 tenths now to Avalon. It's not going to be long. He did a 17.9 that last lap. 17.7 being his quickest. Couldn't quite eke out any extra time from that final sector. Just 2 minutes remaining. He's making the move on Avalon. Doesn't quite get it done there. He is tucked right in behind now. Avalon's going to defend for dear life. But how's he going to hold him off? His tyres might be there. But they both pick up a penalty. 1 second for Stormfly. Half a second for Avalon. And that could mean Avalon retakes second. And it's going to really put a bit of a spanner in the old works for Stormfly chasing down Slippy. The gap now 3.2 seconds. So Avalon might not win this race, but he's certainly having a say in who does. Stormfly just far enough ahead when he served that penalty to maintain second place. At the back of the pack there is Rocket Rob. He is on lap 9 and not on the racetrack, funnily enough. Willard is ahead of him on lap 10. 17.9 behind Aussie. 7.2 up the road to Fubar. Then 22 seconds up to TJ. As Avalon does finally go in the pits, which means that GMAC could be promoted into that top 3. 3.5 seconds up the road is Manxman, who's just 1.8 behind GMAC now. And why are you coming fast? Because I can. Just put his fastest lap of the racing with a 1:18.3, beating his previous fastest lap. And that gap 1.6 seconds. GMAC's not gone quicker than a 19.0. If Manxman can keep this pace up, he could very well be challenging for a top 3. Avalon back out in 6th, 3.3 seconds behind TJ. But now he can go... did he put any fuel in? Oh, he put a little bit. He must have put a little splash in, surely. So here we go. This is the penultimate lap for Slipstream. For Stormfly possibly as well. Looking what time's left, I'm wondering whether Stormfly makes it. Doesn't look like he doesn't look like Slipstream will actually. I think Slipstream might just make it. So Slipstream is going to complete this lap. Or does he? He does. Not. No, he doesn't. So Slipstream wins by 6.3 seconds. Didn't quite make it home in time. So we didn't have that battle. Stormfly 6.4 back and he got held up behind Avalon. Manxman has made that move on GMAC. What happened? Can we see what happened? GMAC going very, very slow. Looks like GMAC's run out of fuel. He has indeed. Oh no, he hasn't. He just was going slowly. So the penalty. Manxman in 3rd. GMAC comes home in 4th. TJ home in 5th. Avalon home in 6th. Eventually, he does make it home. Has he now run out of fuel? Yeah, just to the line. Trademark pirouette across that line. Aussie Rooster comes home in 7th. 15 seconds back to Fubar. Fucked up beyond all recognition, which is what that thing in turn 1 at Monza was. But there comes Aussie round that final turn and across the line. There is Fubar in 8th position. Just coming up by Rocket Rob, who's going to finish in 10th. Willard's cut that gap to 1.4, but I think they're close enough to the line now for Fubar to bring that home. Will he lap Rob again on this final lap? No, he won't. Willard home in 9th, Rob home in 10th. So there we have it. There's your final race done and dusted at Road Atlanta. Now, let's... no, we don't want to do that. We want to do that. So there we go. Slippy wins in that GTR. We're Stormfly in second in the 911, but with the fastest lap, a 1:17.711. Max Manholm in third, GMAC in the 650S in fourth, with TJ just behind him, also in the 650S in fifth. Avalon eventually finishes in sixth, having to get a little splash to make it to the end. Aussie Rooster in seventh in the F-Type, Fubar finishing in eighth. Ninth is Willard in the Mercedes AMG, Rocket Rob in 10th, and Wiggy in the Mercedes-Benz didn't finish. Now, let's talk about driving standards. Now, I'm going to be clear. Look, it is a bit of fun, right? It is. The whole point of Gauntlet is it's supposed to be fun, right? I get that. But you still don't drive like an absolute fucking penis. It's unnecessary. Everyone's out to have some fun, and if you drive like an absolute cunt, it ruins races. And I think Turn 1 at Monza just demonstrated that the lack of having stewarding in this competition has just let people think they can drive how they fucking want, and it's not fair on the other drivers. So look, Gauntlet's a laugh and it's fun, and that's the whole point of Gauntlet, is to have a little laugh and try some new cars and have some different things going on. But it doesn't mean the driving standards have to slip, guys. So that's all I'm going to say on the matter. Let's keep the driving standards good. We know we can drive well because we do it on a regular basis. So there's no reason why we should let it slip when we're having a laugh. Simple as. Job done. Right, we're done and dusted. That's Gauntlet finished for another week. We're back tomorrow with the mini challenge. If you are not there, you are a big hairy bastard. So see you tomorrow for the mini challenge. That's going to be an awesome thing. That is going to be a full lobby, and if it's not, I will eat my own testicles. All that's left for me to say is thanks for joining me. I've been Owen Pirate. This has been Black Flag Racing TV with Gauntlet, and it's been emotional.